Welcome to the Honest Healing Podcast, real talk for cycle breakers. I'm your host, Katie Delamon. If you're ready to speak up, set boundaries, heal your nervous system, and build better relationships, you're in the right place. Because you don't need to be perfect to heal. You just need to be honest. Let's go. Welcome to episode 12 of the Honest Healing Podcast, the real reason for your back, trap, and foot pain. Nerve Locks Explained with Jim Bostock. Today's episode, I'm joined by Jim Bostock himself, the needle guy, as you might know him on social media. He has come up with what's called the Bostock Method. This is where he unlocks nerves. So he's a medically trained osteo and physio. And for many, many years, he wasn't getting great results for his clients, for his patients, until he started what's called the Bostock Method, where he started to unlock nerves in the nervous system. So of course, this speaks to me massively because it's all about the nervous system. But he talks about why this is so effective for especially chronic pain patients and what traditional therapies like your physio, your massage, your chiro, all of this often misses. And he gives some very simple little tips on what you can do if you're living with chronic pain. And he also emphasizes the importance that the nervous system is not just physical, it's also emotional, and your vagus nerve is the most important thing in your body. Let's get to it. All right. Well, welcome to the podcast, Jim Bostock. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you, Katie.
We were actually introduced from mutual friends and we've become friendly. We've had a few dinners together and I know and love your family as well. So I feel very privileged and very honored to know you personally, but I've also come to you as a patient, as a client, and you work wonders on people. So let's just jump right into you created the Bostock Method. Can you share with the world what it is, how you discovered it, and what inspired this approach?
The human body has this remarkable ability to protect an area when you've traumatized it. And trauma can come from physical trauma to emotional trauma combined both together. So when the body goes into this protective state and it locks on, that's when people suffer problems that don't make sense. So chronic problems, weird problems, when medically everything is checked and they're doing all the right therapies, they're doing all the right exercises, they're doing all the right things, they're trying to look after their body's nutrition and so on, and yet the body just doesn't want to respond. And so they live with this problem for years. I call these problems nerves that are locked in the body. And it's something I discovered in 2006. It was legitimately a beautiful lady at that time. She was in her mid 30s. She had this pain that was never going away. And it was multiple years of pain. And literally when I called it at the time, I'm going to try and reset the nerve. And when I did it, her pain disappeared. And it was like magical, right? She said, I've never had pain since. And that was very abnormal, very abnormal. It didn't make sense to us in the medical community. And that, when I studied physiotherapy, osteopathy, the medical sciences, literature, that's impossible for that to happen. So I kept checking in on her for months and months and years, and her pain and the way her body changed gave me a lot of answers. And because of that, I started this journey with a needle that because that's what I used at the time. It was dry needling for trigger points is what I studied and was practicing, but I did something else and I didn't know what it was. So I went back to the anatomy labs and I just studied the anatomy. I studied what the needles were doing, but I felt the nervous system points that we were targeting for dry needling and wet needling were not correct. It was just a gut instinct, and this lady proved it. So I started doing something else and experimenting, and I found it. I just found it. It was amazing. And now, how many years? About 19 years later, I finished all the data. So every single pain that you can imagine in the human body, I've seen it all because the people who come to myself are like those who are, I don't know what's going on. Um, and at their wits' end, and they believe it's their psychology, and they believe something's wrong with them, and they live very quietly in a hopeless state. I've seen every pain, and I know what a nerve lock or the nerve locks that are attached to that pain, and I know what happens when I reset it. Because I've seen your problem thousands and thousands of times. So over 100,000 resets I've done, and I've recorded it all. So this was a very longitudinal study that I did clinically because I needed to show the world that a human body has the ability to eliminate pain. It's just we don't know how to do it. And the literature doesn't support that. The literature just supports band-aid solutions
Yes.
called nerve locks. I call them nerve locks. And
Yeah.
I reset them with a needle.
Yes, yes. So that's exactly what a nerve lock is for
Yeah.
listeners who are new to this method. And like you said, you were doing the dry needling approach for a
Yes.
long time, but this is something completely different and separate.
Mm.
And and you were also obvious, well, you're a physio by
Yeah.
trade.
And an osteopath trained, physio
Yep.
trained, sports physio trained. Yes. Yeah.
Yep. And so what do you think those traditional therapies of like the chiro, the physio, the massage often miss?
We don't listen to the person enough. We don't
Mm,
listen to what the person is telling us. We trust the literature more, the science more than what the person is telling us. And that's fair. It's the way to create a degree. It's the way to keep things logical. It's the way to have the right processes in place and so on. So it's legitimate. Absolutely get it. But the way I discovered nerve locks was really listening to the person and understanding how their body individually and uniquely are protecting themselves. Because that's what nerve locks are. Your body's just gone into a protected state. And Katie, as you know, emotionally we do that as well. The nerves are no different. The nerves in our body that gives us the sense of pain physically, emotionally, is a layering effect in our body to protect us from further harm. That's how we're designed. And I feel the medical community still doesn't appreciate that because it's too wishy-washy and you can't medicate that. Or
mm,
you can medicate it, but you can't fix that
mm.
because if you fix that, we'll have no more business.
Well, that's exactly it. So I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but the
Yeah,
government and, agencies, corporations, they don't make money on healthy people who can heal
no,
themselves with one or two things.
can't do that.
So they don't make money on that. And I call it the sick care system because we're not about preventative. We are all about like wait until you're absolutely completely obliteratedly, stage 4 sick, then we'll address the issue. And so I'm so glad you as a medical practitioner are, bringing this up and talking about this because
Oh my gosh, yes. Even Gabor Mate is doing the same. I really admire his work. In the medical sciences, and he's just 20 years ahead of myself
mm,
in terms of what he has seen clinically. And he's just telling the truth. He's
yep.
trying to obviously back everything he's saying with literature and science, but realistically, he got his data from listening to people
Yeah,
and
absolutely. Well, and he
serving
also,
people.
and it was his own personal journey. So he was
Yeah,
diagnosed with ADHD at 55. He
yeah,
started doing plant medicine in his 60s. And now
yeah.
I saw him a few months ago in Brisbane. He's like 83 talking on stages, and he's just mind blowing how
Incredible.
much he's healed in the past like 20 years. Like he didn't
Yeah.
even begin his healing journey until he was in his 60s. So it's just beautiful to watch and see. He's absolutely one of my favorite teachers, and I respect him
Yeah.
out of the most.
I
So,
was reading his book going, oh my gosh, I agree with that. I agree with that.
yep,
Everything he's saying is yes. That's what I've
yep.
seen in my career. Yep.
We've normalized dysfunction and toxicity, unfortunately.
It's very important for business. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So
Mm.
many people, as you know, live with chronic pain, and
Yes.
they've tried everything. Where do the nerve locks usually hide in these cases? It's obviously in the nervous system.
Yeah. Think of like if you have a big piece of steak in your butt muscle, that's a big
Mm,
piece of steak. You have these nerve fibers going like uh like a firework going off everywhere. And the end of those lightning bolts everywhere, the end of them are the nerve endings.
mm,
And when you have nerves that are locked, let's say there's 50 of these nerve locks sitting everywhere, or these nerve fibers sitting everywhere, and then 20 of them went dark.
Mm,
If you can visualize that, I call them nerves that are locked, nerve locks. It's
mm,
not nerve blocks because that's an anesthetic. It's nerves that are locked. And the reason why I called it that is because people were always saying, I feel my body is locked. I
mm,
feel it's something to do with my nerves and it's just locked. I can't get out of this. Well, that's what they believe and are told to believe. So, yeah, and what the needle does, it goes directly to those 20 that have shut down
mm.
and Control Alt Delete
Yep.
reboots them back.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
can nerve blocks explain why some people experience pain flare-ups without obvious injury?
Yes.
Yeah.
Good example. Uh, I eliminate nerve locks in a person's area. 2 weeks later, she goes through a major stress event in her life, like
Mm,
a major stress event, and it's to do with her children. She wasn't sleeping so well. Her stress levels were through the roof, right? And her pain flared up. She
mm,
messaged to me and she says, did I just undo everything you've done? And I said, no, no, no. It's just your brain and your nervous system going, hey, we're trying to recover. You've just put this in the equation. Why did you do that? Protect again. But it's a flare up in the sense that the pain signals come back to try and
mm.
slow down the body, but it doesn't mean you're regressing. It's just your body going, stop that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Great distinction. And that's, I think, what people are really afraid of pain and discomfort. So
Yeah.
we're constantly trying to get rid of the pain and just be comfortable. And I think that's, the nervous system is not about just being comfortable all the time. It doesn't mean that you're just blissful and happy all the time. It actually means you are uncomfortable often, but you can be with it. You can breathe with it. You can stay in your body instead of trying to escape, distract, or numb. That's the whole point. It doesn't mean stress will never happen. It doesn't mean you're never going to have pain or suffering, but it's about being with it, staying with it, validating it, and then not letting the victim sort of mentality get stuck there.
I like the word homeostasis.
Yes.
To try and, I mean, it's not Instagram worthy, but
Hmm.
it's the place where humans really need to be. But rarely do we be, well, rarely are we there. And
Yes.
it's simply because of things like, these
Hmm.
and so much information at our fingertips that we can overanalyze our bodies with. And so many podcasts, yep, yep, podcasts
Yep.
and books and authors and Gable Mate's and, Jordan
Yep.
Peterson's and all these things you got to put in your body nutritionally and with supplements and all these amazing things to make you feel great. But my thinking always is when I observe people do this, the end product I always see. I always see the end product. And it's, the nervous system and the body is still going, yeah, that's great. I get it. I get it that you're trying to intelligent me, overthink me, overanalyze me. I use the word over intelligent. I make up my own words. Anyway, um, but the body is just going, hey, I just want nice things. Just look
Mm.
after me. Like it's called the parasympathetic nervous system. Just be nice. Do the simple things right, and I'll be happy. I don't care about how intelligent you are up here.
Yep.
And even though it's good intentions, like it's positive things, sometimes it's adding more stress to the system. Does that make sense? Like,
Absolutely. You
yeah,
can over intellectualize, over analyze. Like, healing happens in the body, not in the head.
yes,
And
yeah,
even unfortunately, going to talk therapy can make things sometimes worse because you get stuck in your head, stuck in the talking, where the nervous system is healed through the body, through care. And yeah, homeostasis, which our body is always trying to get back to. That's why when you cut yourself, it'll scab up and heal itself. Like your body's always trying to get back into that stage. And
mm,
I'm a yoga teacher. And so when everybody lies down for Shavasana, I just make this really simple, like this little point that you're about 80, 90% water. What does water have to do to become still? Nothing. It just needs to be left undisturbed and it settles naturally.
Mm.
So it's not about doing anything. It's about that becoming and that being. So yes. What conditions or symptoms do you see most often, and do you see that best respond to these nerve lock releases?
It depends on the population you want to really look at. If we're not looking at the super athletic population, uh, if you look at just I will say general public, the biggest one that's relevant here, I feel, is definitely the glute and the hip region,
Mm-hmm.
the butt muscles, the glute muscles, and the hip pain. That also comes into your lower back pain.
Yep.
That's hard to describe because they call it non-specific low back pain or
Mm-hmm.
idiopathic low back pain or discogenic low back pain. And yet the structure is a lot of the time it's good,
Mm-hmm.
but the symptoms are unbelievable. So that area is enormous. I would say that's the number one, close to the number one area in the body that majority of us suffer with. And
Yeah.
then there's other areas like the mid thoracics, especially in women, the mid
Mm-hmm.
thoracics, and of course your traps and headaches.
Yep.
Crazy. The one that's also should be mentioned it feet,
Mm.
heel
That's what I came
pain.
to you for.
Yeah, plantar fascia, plantar fasciitis, plantar fascia pain, heel pain, bone spur, heel spur pain. All that is enormous because it's connected to the glute and the hip.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same problem.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you work with children who have heel spurs. You heal in like a few
Children
sessions.
heal like that. Yeah, one
Yeah.
session and pretty much and it's done. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's called Sever's disease.
Yes.
And it's essentially for kids, it's the calf muscle gets so jacked up because of the overload of sport and jumping and running, or
Mm-hmm.
they're not wearing the right shoes.
And they're
I
not
prefer,
stretching. They're
yeah,
not
not
stretching.
stretching. Yep. And yeah, just a lot of that and growth, really fast growth.
Yeah.
So that pain is very simple because children, thank heavens, are simple. Um, but adults, woo,
Take a little bit more time.
yeah,
So
we're a lot more complicated.
yeah, a lot more responsibilities, I guess,
Yeah.
in our heads that are keeping us all
Yeah.
tightened up,
Well, the
all locked
heel
up.
pain, heel spur, plantar fasciitis, I call emotional pain.
Yep.
I am now 1000%. It's not to do with anything in the foot that's broken, even though people have come at me with so much. Look, and my MRI says it's this and it's that, and I've had blah, 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 blah. But I can literally now stand in front of a professor of podiatry, which I have, and say, your heel pain, ironically, your heel pain is not plantar fasciitis the way you believe it is. It's
Mm,
just your calf that's really locked, but emotional body is significant.
thank you for mentioning that because I personally believe that all of it comes back to emotional body.
Yeah.
But we'll get into that in a moment. Can you just walk us through what a session looks like for someone coming to you for the very first time?
We sit down, we chat about your pain. A lot of people, they've talked about their pain so many times
Mm,
to medical practitioners and specialists and so on. So I come at it from a nerve blocks perspective. So it's always a interesting conversation because nerve blocks, as you just said, it's not just a physical pain;
hmm
it's an emotional body. Your nervous system is emotional and physical. If people believe it's just physical, you're not a human being. Like where have you been? Or you're a mammal without a neocortex, um, because the nervous system is emotional. The nervous system is physical. It's all combined. It's called hormones.
Yeah.
So we have a very different conversation. And when we talk about nerve blocks, things light up in their eyes because now we're really talking about the source of their pain.
Mm,
That's where our conversations really go in the session. And then, of course, I do my thing with needles, and their body tells me everything. So I listen to the body. The body gives me all the answers. And yeah, people are just, wow, they're blown away because it's a very unique experience. But at the same time, their bodies are sensing, oh my gosh, this guy is actually getting to the source. What the hell's going on? I don't even know how to deal with that. It's a lot of the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
And it's kind of a method of physical, neurological, but also energetic. So you blend these
absolutely.
three, like
Yeah,
kind of even like you go around areas and you like feel like the energy, whether
mm,
it's the pulsing or the nerves or it's just a really for me, somebody who's in, energetics and the spiritual side
yeah,
of things, like I really appreciate that approach. It's more
yeah,
holistic and it's just more functional medicine. Like
yeah,
it's the way I personally think, the world should operate a little bit more. And like you said, you talk about what's going on in your day to day. What's your lifestyle like? What are your stressors? Like my husband had a stroke and was in hospital. He had surgeries. Not one of them ever asked what his stress levels were like.
yeah,
He had to do or physical therapy,
yeah,
like pushing things, like never once did they talk about like psychology or anything like that. And I'm like,
yeah,
you do know that, strokes have a lot to do with stress, a lot, but
yeah.
won't go into
I
that.
would agree.
Speaking of, what role do you believe, from your perspective and seeing, hundreds and thousands of clients, what does the role of stress, trauma, and the nervous system play in nerve blocks?
Uh, I can't really say a percentage, but it's a significant percentage of nerve locks.
Mm,
Some nerve locks are very simple. I unlock or reset, and it's gone. And that person, a lot of the time, is emotionally stable,
hmm
and they're in a good mindset. They know their path that's in front of them. They're very progressive thinkers as well. So energy wise, they're very strong like that. But then, of course, there are people who you know that from talking and listening to their body when I reset the nerve locks, oh wow, your body's been through hell emotionally. So their nerve locks are significantly that way inclined, emotionally inclined, to the point where a lot of people I say, look, you have to go talk to someone like Katie or breath work, or
hmm
you have to go down this pathway of really getting to the source of your emotional trauma because that is your pain. That
mm
is your pain. A lot of people don't want to believe that.
mm
They don't want to hear that because that's what they've been running away from for a long time or suppressing for a long time. So they don't want to hear that. But I'm always on the side of, hey, you're here. Do you really want to get better? Got to do it. So it really depends on the person.
Yeah.
Um, but nerve blocks are nerves. So
mm
I always say it's both emotional and physical.
Yep. Yeah. And I see that you're doing a lot of online programs where people can start to identify and ease their own nerve blocks.
Yeah.
What exactly does that look like without the needles from you?
Yeah, it's a big question. Because it's understanding what nerve blocks are in your body. That's the secret,
Mm,
really. A lot of people understanding that this pain is actually connected to your emotional body, that alone is very powerful. Oh my gosh, I didn't even think about that. Wow. Oh yeah, I actually don't like my husband. Or my kids they really are, or I'm not really paying attention to my needs anymore because I'm so overwhelmed by everything else in my environment. So, yeah, I really need to look at that. Yeah, that alone can shift their pain.
Yeah.
Um, and a lot of nerve lock pains, people are just not doing the right things for.
Mm,
Like, I'm getting painful massages every week. I get deep tissue just to get in someone to get in there and come on, please get to that spot. Do you know that is actually making your pain worse? Really?
mm,
Yeah. It's irritating and pissing your nerves off. What do you think it's going to do?
mm,
So things like that, and understanding that that pain that they have is actually a nerve lock pain. You're okay. You're not broken. You're not, it's not what you've been diagnosed with. Helping them understand their diagnosis clearer is also
mm,
a big help emotionally for them. It gives them certainty. So the reason why I created this, for all the people who can't get to me here in Australia, those who are waiting too long, it's over a year and a half wait now just to get in. So it's like, well, if you can do the right things at home and at
mhm,
work and in your leisurely times with your body, you'll be amazed. because nerve blocks at the end of the day are just protective mechanisms in your body.
Hmm.
You're just not doing the right things for your body. And that's your body's going, well, I'm going to lock you up because you're just being silly.
Yep. Or what
So,
we would kind of call in the emotional world, not, and what Gabor Mate would say is, you're not being your most authentic self.
yeah,
You know, we've that's the problem. We've gone too far away from our authentic self because when we
yeah.
were little, we had to please our parents or our caregivers, and so we stopped pushing away our needs or our creative or fun or playful side, and then that's where this stuff gets stuck and locked. And now I know we don't have too much more time together because you do have a patient, you're a very busy man. But can you please, because I am a yoga teacher and I want you to also talk about how important it is to stretch and stretch often and to breathe
Yeah,
deeply in these stretches, because
yeah.
literally, if there's something you could do every day, it is breathe deeply and stretch.
Amen, sister. Yep,
Stretching is a new flexing.
it is. Anybody who tells me stretching is not worth it or it doesn't work is uh you're missing out. Just missing out. Especially as we age.
Mm,
God, please stretch. And it doesn't mean you have to do a yoga class like and
no.
be amazingly flexible. No, 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 no. Just stretch your muscles. I always say it's stretching and calming down your nerves. Just decompress your nerves every day. And a
Yeah.
beautiful place to do it is in a pool, underwater, in
I do.
baths.
You could
Yeah,
do it in the I do it in the
do it
kitchen.
everywhere. Yeah,
I do it in the kitchen bench, or if
yeah.
you're watching TV,
Anytime,
literally
anywhere.
on your bed, on the couch. Like, you can do it everywhere
Yeah.
at any time.
The pool is really effective.
Yep.
Being underwater.
Yes.
That's just a little extra tip, but stretch anytime, anywhere, deep breathing to help your parasympathetics and stretching gently. And that's the key word. It's gentle, it's not aggressive. People want
Mm,
to, I have to spend 45 minutes stretching everything. It's like you don't have to come into that with those intentions, just stretch. Watch
mm,
something, have a drink, watch TV, talk on the phone and stretch. Yeah.
Let it be very intuitive and fluid. It's not
Yes.
forced. Like, you don't
Yes.
have to watch a YouTube. It's like, what is your like, listen to what your body needs right now. Like,
Yes.
do you, and yeah. So, and last but
Yes.
certainly not least, there's so many people out there with that chronic pain who have tried everything. What would you say to them?
Obviously watch my stuff, your stuff.
Yes, follow Bostock Method. Jim
Uh,
Bostock, needle guy.
yeah, don't believe that this is something you have to live with forever. Don't believe that this is just in your head and you're cuckoo. There is a way out of
Mm,
your state that you're in. It may be hard right now because your brain is full of too much information and a lot of fear. And uncertainty drives that more because the anxiety is higher. But your body is actually really simple. Even though it's a complicated engine, it's really simple. Look at the vagus nerve. Read everything about the vagus nerve. And Katie, you're the
yep.
goddess of the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve is the truth.
Hmm.
So you do everything to help your body's vagus nerve feel better. You will win. Your body will tell you the answers on what to do and how to feel, and it even gives you the right thoughts and processes. It's incredible. Like it's hard for us intellectual beings to go, really? The body can give me answers, really?
Mm,
I don't think so. But it is the truth. If you listen to the vagus nerve, so that really is the true healing, the vagus nerve. So read about that and everything that I talk about in my videos and in my program online and so on, and nerve locks and so on. It's to help your body's vagus nerve do the right things so that your body is in homeostasis and happier. Yeah.
yes. Yes. Thank you for mentioning that. I actually have a nervous system reboot program, and
Oh,
one
yay.
whole section is just the vagus nerve, understanding that, because that is your highway to healing, baby, your vagus nerve.
The vagus nerve is very powerful for chronic pain. Yeah, very powerful. It's currently sitting in what I call like a default protective state when you're in a lot of pain or you're in a high level of anxiety or you're in a constant fight flight state or you're just autoimmune shot. You're
Mm,
just adrenally fatigued.
yeah.
Your vagus nerve is going, Mayday, Mayday, Mayday. But you are not listening. You are just continuously putting in more stresses into the system. So I'm going to go into a more defensive state. Mayday, Mayday, please listen. But when you actually start to stimulate the body in the right way so the vagus nerve is happier, it reverses the process and actually does what it's supposed to do, which is heal your body.
Yep, and I am definitely a walking example of that for sure. I had shot adrenals and all that good stuff. So, where can people learn more about the Bostock method and you as a practitioner? I feel grateful that I live in Australia and 20
Yeah.
minutes away from you, so I get to see you in person.
Jim Bostock on any social media platform, you'll find the needle guy or myself, the name. So all the social media platforms, Instagram and Facebook are big ones, even YouTube. And yeah, it directs you to the website as well. And yeah, if you just watch my videos and really sort of connect with the words and how I describe your pain and tips that I give for your pain, you'll see it will make a lot of sense. And people who are generally attracted to the work, those like in yourself as well,
Hmm.
who are just scratching their heads, going, "It doesn't make sense. Like my head wants to do this, but my body's doing this." It's like,
Yeah.
what is this disconnection? So that's it. It's so beautiful today. You can just find your name,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
it's
And I
there.
think your
Like,
website is Jim
yeah.
Bostock.
Yeah, just look up
Yep.
Jim Bostock and you'll find it.
Yep.
But yeah, everywhere, the most sought after location is Instagram at this stage and the website. Yeah, which is my
Perfect.
name. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you again for your time, your wisdom, your expertise, and yeah, thank you so
And
much.
thank you for your amazing energy and what you're doing because, yeah, it's helping so many
Mhm.
people in the right way, which is nice to see. Really
Yeah.
nice to see
Thank you,
and
Jim. I
support. Yeah.
appreciate that.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Katie. Thank you, everybody.
See ya. Thanks for listening to the Honest Healing Podcast. If you want to check out Jim on social media, he has over 500,000 followers across his platforms already and counting. If you want to check me out, it's just my name, Katie Delamont, and that's my website as well. If you want to read my wild ride from mindlessness to mindfulness, my debut memoir, Trust the Flames, you can buy it anywhere they sell books. Amazon is usually the quickest and the cheapest, but that's also on my website or on Amazon, Trust the Flames. And I also do one on one work. So we are coming up to the holidays. We're in October in a week. If you are looking for some one on one coaching for either one session, 4 sessions, 12 sessions, or if you want to learn how to reboot your nervous system, check out my website, send me a message, and I'd love to connect.